What's up, everybody? Red Cloud Gamer here, joined as always by the one and only Green Sween. What's up, Sween?
Man, ready to talk some Xbox E3.
Right, Xbox and Bethesda. Don't forget, they really marketed it to make sure that you know Bethesda's part of Xbox now.
Oh, yeah, and this was a good one, man. This was a good presentation in my mind.
I think it was the best that we had at this year's E3, and it was good overall, but still not as good as what I come to expect from E3s over the
I,
last 30 years of gaming.
I feel like this E3 just made it feel so great. Like it really thrived in this E3.
Yeah, because everyone else sucked.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a good show though. Like I'm not knocking Microsoft here. It
The
just
thing
could have been better.
is, a good show was elite at this E3.
Absolutely, it was
Yeah.
it was the best by default. But we here at NSX Gaming have decided we want to do some shorter videos instead of 2 hour podcasts. We're going to focus on 10, 15, 20 minute videos focused solely on one topic. We just recorded one for the Nintendo E3 review. We're doing Microsoft's right now. I know we're a little late behind other people. I typically don't like to do reviews of E3 or any game show like Gamescom or Tokyo Game Show or whatever like right after it happens because I seem to be a little biased. I need like a couple days to really process and see what I truly think was amazing and what I think wasn't. So
I
we're doing
agree.
it a week out. Yeah, we talked about it the other day and agreed that this would be best. So we did one for Nintendo. We're doing one for Microsoft. We're not going to do one for each individual conference though. We're just going to do a general E3 review after this one.
Because
So
the other conferences weren't worth it, just to point that one out, but no.
yeah, and of course, Sony didn't show up again, so otherwise we'd have one dedicated for them as well.
We'll talk about them for Summer Game Fest, I'm sure, though, at some point.
Yeah, a little bit. So diving into the Xbox One, I'll get some Xbox footage running. Play it day one with
Boy,
Xbox Game Pass.
how
Let's be
many times
real.
do we see that fucking thing pop up?
27.
Yeah,
But
to be
yo,
specific.
so let's be honest. This was the Game Pass E3 showcase. This was Microsoft telling you if you don't have Game Pass and you're a gamer, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have access to it, if you're only on Switch, then or only on PlayStation, then yeah, you shouldn't have it. But you should at this point have access to Game Pass on some device. And now that it's coming to phones and tablets and every browser, and it's on Xbox and it's on PC, and right before E3, they did their little business meeting with Satya Nadella, all dressed in a Halo Infinite hoodie, which was pretty cool to see a CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world dressed up like a gamer. I don't know, that just as someone who was gaming when it was considered like something nerds do, it was pretty cool to see representation like that from one of the most powerful men in business. Period.
Yeah.
And anything about Halo is going to get people hyped if you're an Xbox fan. You're not even that big of an Xbox guy anymore, and you're hyped for what's on the screen right now.
I love me some Chief.
Yeah. This show was really about Game Pass. Yes, it was about games, and it was about showing the future of Microsoft, and really hammering home what Satya Nadella said. We are all in on gaming, which realistically was already hammered home when they spent $7.5 billion to buy Bethesda, but they needed to hear him say it, and he said it, and that's what this show was about, showing you that Microsoft's all in, and this is what the future looks like. We've been hearing for probably 5, 6 years now. Xbox has no games. Xbox has no games. Well, we saw Halo, we saw Starfield, we saw Stalker 2, we saw the new Sea of Thieves content. We saw that new Avalanche game, Contraband, which it was only a CG trailer, but I love Avalanche as a studio, so I'm gonna check it out. We saw them getting a bunch of games that they've been missing, like Hades, Yakuza coming to, the final Yakuza game coming to Game Pass.
That dropped that day, didn't it?
Yes, it did, and all of the other ones were already there, so the entire collection is available in Game Pass now. Because this video is going to be shorter, I obviously couldn't play the entire Xbox conference here, so I just snapped out some videos from three of my personal highlights. Halo, obviously, right here with the cinematic of Chief and this not Cortana replacement type character.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm intrigued to see what's going on here. The Halo story has always been, you know, interesting. If even though it's not the deepest story as far as cinematic content goes.
And it
Now
took a
they're
hell of a turn in 5.
yeah, they're showing some multiplayer, which obviously you're going to be huge on. I get my ass whipped in Halo multiplayer, so I play with my friends.
They're
I
making
enjoy
that
it,
free.
but I die. Uh,
Love that they're making that free.
yeah, Halo Infinite multiplayer, free to play, which is kind of necessary at this point. It's actually kind of interesting contrast because in this show they also showed Battlefield, which I believe I predicted they would, and we found out Battlefield's going up $10, and it doesn't have a campaign, and it doesn't have a battle royale. And meanwhile, you're gonna have Halo multiplayer free to play. You're gonna have Fortnite and Warzone
Zone,
and
Apex.
Apex, and a bunch of other games of this type that you're not gonna have to pay for. And EA thinks that we're gonna buy Battlefield instead. I
Oh.
I'm sure that I'm gonna get Battlefield, but not right away when I am gonna have all these other games to play. I don't have enough time
Um,
to dive into that much stuff, so I
I,
need
I,
to
I,
be
th-
selective.
I think it's a beautiful thing to see so many shooters going free in the world. I mean, I would have killed for as many free games that we have now as a kid. You know what I mean? I really would have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's insane.
So I mean, we'll talk Halo in a minute, but they opened on Starfield, so that's what I should really talk about. The first thing they wanted to say is Starfield is coming out next year, 11/11/22, 11 years after the release of Skyrim, and it is an Xbox and PC exclusive.
We
There's
heard that a couple times.
Yeah, they hammered that home, and then there was some controversy after the show. I don't know if you caught this, but one of the heads of the studio, I'm trying to think, maybe it was Pete Hines, was asked about it, and he apologized. He said I'm sorry, and like there's nothing I can do about it. And a lot of people took it like he's upset, like he wishes it was going to be on PlayStation, and I don't believe that's what he was saying. He was simply saying like he gets it. If you don't have an Xbox or another way to access the game, he does feel bad for you that you're not gonna be able to get it. But realistically, Game Pass is gonna make it so you can get it regardless of what you're playing on. So, no, you're not gonna have it on your PlayStation, but you're gonna get it. That's gonna happen. Uh, Game looked great. No gameplay shown, just a in-engine, visual showcase kind of video.
They kind of
And
showed a little bit of the multiplayer.
the
Or
of the what?
go ahead.
All
Tell
right.
what you were saying.
Yeah. So the in-engine video for Starfield looked really good, and we know it's set a couple hundred years in the future. The technology is supposed to be familiar to us, but advanced. It's supposed to be the biggest world they ever created. And this is the people that brought us Skyrim, which has been like a game of the year on every system, computer, cell phone, and calculator you've ever seen. So this is going to be a big deal.
Right.
Um, After that, the next big thing I saw was on our screen right now, Sea of Thieves.
Well, I was just about to say I actually got a little caught in that footage, and that's why I thought at first you were talking about the Sea of Thieves footage on the screen,
No, no, no.
which is why I was like, they showed a little bit of it in the gameplay, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No,
But then you
no,
said
we were still
Starfield. I'm
Starfield.
like, what an idiot. I'm like, geez, no. But I saw right when I saw Sea of Thieves on the screen, I was like, ooh, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Because yeah, this
Dude,
I'm a
this
big fan
this
as
was
it
like the
is.
best marketing I think they've ever done. Like,
I loved it.
uh, and it's a testament to Disney and how much better they've gotten with, using their properties in gaming. I remember growing up, Disney games were terrible. It was just a shitty game with a Disney character and some random gameplay mechanics. And now they're like letting their, you know, IPs go to studios that actually care and want to deliver something fun. And this just makes sense. Sea of Thieves is the best pirate game out there, and you're gonna put in one of the biggest pirate movie franchises. I, for one, never really got into Sea of Thieves, but this has convinced me to play. I reinstalled it on my Series X the other day, so I will be playing. That's coming probably my next day off.
Yeah, this content update looks really, really amazing. And I mean, when I was still playing on Xbox, as much as I wasn't playing a lot of games, I was very limited. Sea of Thieves was one of the games I loved playing. Nonstop with my friends. I had a crew of four. We were always playing. We were talking like pirates, and it was beautiful. And to add Jack Sparrow and Davy Jones and all these new monsters in underwater, and they actually didn't show in-game footage. I thought they did show in-game footage in that. I could have sworn I remembered that, but I've always been a big fan of Rare. I love the games Rare makes, and I've talked to you about Land of Nights. I mean, my buddy have discussed them maybe making a Sea of Thieves sequel, but like kind of like medieval times on the ground. But you know what? I'll take still another run at Sea of Thieves with Pirates of the Caribbean coming.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it this weekend. So hop on. Maybe you can show me the ropes in the world of Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, now that I found out I could just turn the vibrate off my controller.
Yeah, you were having some issues there.
Yeah.
All right, so Forza's playing on the screen, but before we jump into that, I'm gonna cut back over to Halo. We we got a confirmation that Halo Infinite campaign and multiplayer will launch same date and holiday 2021. I was surprised we didn't get a date. I did think that September was going to be the date. I feel like now that they said holiday, we're looking more like November, and I'm even though it kind of stacks November with Forza so close to it, I'm gonna guess the anniversary of the Xbox launch and put it at November 15th. That's a 20-year anniversary of Halo Combat Evolved.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. The game looked great. It leaps and bounds better than what they showed us last year. I saw no texture pop in. I saw a much better texture quality. The game was running smooth. I'm liking the use of the grapple hook. The confirmation of 120 frames per second gameplay on the Series X, that was pretty big for me. I'm just all around looking forward to it. Even though I'm gonna get destroyed in multiplayer, I'm gonna get back in. I'm gonna run through the campaign and I'm gonna play some multiplayer with my friends. And with it being free to play, maybe there'll actually be some people out there bad enough that I can get some solid games in too.
Probably there's going to be a lot of people playing it, especially with it being free. And you say Forza comes out around that time, and I look at that as a positive because Forza and Halo necessarily don't step on each other's toes. They're two completely different games in two completely different markets, and a
Absolutely.
lot a
It's
lot
just
of people
like
have.
if it comes out the 15th, you're talking about a 6 day gap. And Forza Horizon is a game that you don't beat quickly.
No,
It's a game that no one's gonna have finished if Halo drops 6 days later.
but Forza's a game you really when do you finish it? I mean, it's just a fun adventure. And it's the
True.
same thing with Halo. I mean, you got two fantastic games coming out, and a lot of people's big complaints with the Xbox right now is Xbox just doesn't have the games. And
Well,
I think
that's over. This
I
show
was gonna
told
say,
you
I
that's
think
over.
they answered a big question this E3, and I think that's what makes their presentation so positive, is they had some looks their ways, and by the way, the real use of maps here is incredible in Forza. How they show the mural right here, I love this. I
Yeah,
love how they had people actually go
yeah.
and
This
travel.
team is great. They work with people in the community. They had like a bunch of artists from Mexico like do custom work just to put in the game. It They always make a game that's just worth playing, man. And their photogrammetry, like looking at the screen right now, that looks like a picture. That does not look like that's a video game,
For the line.
but it is a video game. So
Hands down, top of the line stuff right there. I mean, seriously.
yeah.
And the fact that they're adding in this creative mode where you can,
Did you just
edit your
die?
own. Yeah, a
All
little
right.
bit. Um, where you can, they're showing, you'll see it later, but where they're knocking over the bowling pins and you could set up your own races and make your own game modes. I love that addition. I love that.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I thought everything they showed from Forza was great. The graphics have always been great on Forza Horizon. Racing games in general always look really good. But knowing their games, playing them, enjoying the way they feel, their attention to detail with the cars, with the music, with the world building, this game's gonna have me hooked for a while. I fully completed Forza Horizon 2. I completed 3 until they did the DLC. I've got to dive back in. And I did a lot of 4. I didn't complete it, but I got to get back to that too. This one, I'm just going to be hooked on. I can tell. And a big thing, I said that with them coming out so close to each other, that could be an issue. Microsoft doesn't have to worry about that anymore because the reason you don't want to drop games close to each other is cannibalizing one game's sales. With Game Pass, they don't give a damn anymore.
It's more of a reason to get
You're
it.
you're a Game Pass member, so you're gonna get Forza Horizon 5 and you're gonna get Halo. If they come out 6 days apart, you're gonna have them both regardless. Who cares? But yeah, this game looks great. The gameplay will be great. I know there's gonna be a 4K 30 frame per second mode with like the highest quality assets, and a 4K 60 frame per second mode with slightly lower quality assets. I played Forza Horizon 4 at 4K 60 on my computer. I loved it. I'm gonna love this. The creative mode looks really cool, where you essentially have complete control over putting in obstacles, changing the physics of the game with like car bouncers, putting in things to hit like bowling pins and pinatas and whatnot. It looks like it's gonna be awesome.
Mayhem.
Yeah, like I hope that you hop on this as well. I know that you're mostly only on the Switch, but I do hope that you're gonna be on here with me.
No, I definitely will give this game a shot. This and Halo are definitely high on my list. Another game is even Back for Blood that getting announced for Game Pass
Another
day
Game
one. By the
Pass
way,
day
is
one.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that one actually surprised me being Game Pass day one, and also it surprised me that Battlefield wasn't. Although I'm still not entirely certain that Battlefield won't be. It, I've read some rumors that it's possible EA is just kind of holding back, waiting to see what the pre-orders look like before they decide whether or not they're gonna jump on the Game Pass stuff. And even though I think Battlefield will sell, I think that the pre-orders won't justify not using Game Pass. Pretty much everyone that uses Game Pass has put out there that when it comes down to it, it actually makes your game more successful. So whether it's day one or sometime shortly thereafter, I do think it's going to happen. Other than that, Microsoft showed a bunch of games. They showed 30 games, 27 coming to Game Pass day one. And they showed a little bit of something for everything. They showed like Slime Rancher 2 was there. Diablo 2 Resurrected was shown. A sequel to A Plague's Tale was shown. Hades was shown. That's coming to Game Pass. Psychonauts 2. I know they showed ESO with like a next gen enhanced version that's coming out. It actually might be out. I think it came out a couple days ago. Now that I say that out loud.
Yeah, and I know they showed the Fallout 76 update too.
Yeah,
So,
and like a preview of the next expansion to it, the Pit. They did show Battlefield 2042, which looked great. They actually showed some in-game footage that actually did some of the stuff we saw in the cinematic video the week before, so that was pretty cool. And they closed on another Bethesda title, Redfall, this vampire hunting game from Arcane Studios, who they did Prey and Dishonored and whatnot. They're a phenomenal studio. Can't wait to get my hands in this game. Although we heard summer 2022, so I don't have a choice but to wait, I guess.
I thought it looked great.
Yeah.
Everybody I've shown it to thinks it looks great.
Well, I
From what
mean,
they're
it was
saying.
just a cinematic trailer, so I got to see real gameplay and know exactly how it's going to work. But I trust them gameplay wise, so
Yeah, but
I
just
think I'm going to
the
enjoy it.
concept.
Yeah.
The concept looks great. I like what they're gonna do, and I'm sure they're gonna do a good job with it.
And they also might have had one of the best trailers I've ever seen at their show for Outer Worlds 2. A trailer that was very self-aware and just kind of made
Yeah.
fun of video game trailers in general. So that was cool. Overall,
There's no gameplay footage because the developers just aren't ready.
yeah. Overall, I'm gonna give Microsoft and Bethesda show a B plus. I do think it was missing the one huge title that I didn't know was coming. You could argue Redfall is that title, but they didn't show any gameplay. And I personally would have liked to see like a big budget JRPG. It's one of my favorite like genres in gaming. The Final Fantasies, Lost Odyssey is one of my favorites of all time. I would have loved to see another one get some real love from the house that Chief built. But I'm gonna give him a
Yeah.
B plus. I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of Xbox, and that's saying something because, as big of an Xbox fan as I am, a couple years ago I was kind of worried. I was looking through my Facebook conversations, and there's a conversation with me and my cousin Joe talking about how I might be ready to switch to PlayStation because I was just worried that Microsoft wasn't delivering on its vision anymore, and they were no longer interested in gaming. So it's good to see that they've gone back on uh, some of the areas they were headed poorly in and fixed it.
I get that feeling all too well. I sure do.
So yeah,
Um,
B plus.
no,
What's my
I'm right there
co-host
with
say?
you. I'm right there with you. B plus. I can't agree with you, or I can't agree or disagree anymore. But my reason why is same thing as you. Kind of just missing that big title. But for me, I really wanted to see some in-game footage of Starfield. And I know they got to take their time on it, and I respect that. I understand.
Well, it's also 18 months away, and just for the record, that was in engine. There was no cinematic tools. That was what the game looks like when you're playing it.
No, I understand, but I want to see what it looks like when I'm moving. I want to see some movement, just a little bit, just
So
enough. I
you
want
more
to.
wanted to see the gameplay, period.
Uh, I mean, not even much of it though. I wouldn't say like I wanted to see 5 minutes or anything like that. I just wanted to see the gameplay, like the real like actual gameplay. Like you know what I mean? What am I gonna see when I pick up a controller and play this game? You know what I mean?
I mean, again, visually, you're going to see exactly what you looked at.
I get it. I just I wanna know so much. I want to know, is there gonna be like space travel? There's just so many questions in my head
Well, I
about
mean,
this
there's
game,
there's a
man.
lot of stuff that they talked about. Yes, there's going to be space travel.
Oh, I hope they really execute that right. And this game, you can just, it has so
Well,
much potential.
it's a studio that I just trust. I don't think they've ever really done me wrong. I loved Morrowind, I loved Oblivion, I loved Skyrim. I love the Fallout titles except for 76. Although I've heard that's gotten much better since I tried it and hated it, so maybe I should give it another go.
When will we hear about the next Elder Scrolls game? I don't know.
I mean, we got confirmation that it exists. They showed a title screen last year,
It's gotta
but
exist.
it, we got confirmation. Like they showed it. It was just a
Yeah.
title screen. But
No, I know. I'm saying.
that studio doesn't do two games at once, so we're not gonna see it until Starfield is done.
I figure that.
I mean, if Starfield's 2022, I would say Elder Scrolls is honestly probably 2024 at the earliest, but more likely 2025.
Yeah. I just want to know where it's gonna take setting.
Uh,
Really. My buddy's been very big on that, and he's told me some places it could take setting place, and there's some good ideas he has that they should do for sure.
well, I trust whatever idea they come up with. They're, like I said,
Agreed, but
they're great.
agreed. And I think the biggest thing about Xbox's game conference was that Game Pass is the real deal, and
Yeah,
they made
absolutely.
it. They not only did they make a statement with Game Pass, but they sure as hell made a statement with, we're gonna have exclusives. That, and I mean, seeing Starfield as a Microsoft exclusive like gives you the realistic like, holy shit, the next Elder Scrolls game is an Xbox exclusive or a Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, we knew
That's a
that.
big
Like we've
deal.
been saying it on here. People have been saying it across the industry. I watched the Xbox Two podcast with Randall Thor and Jez Corden, and they had like a big panel with a bunch of other Xbox community members on there. Like Tim Dog was on there, Fonzarelli, Colt Eastwood, and all of these guys have been saying it since the purchase was complete. Bethesda's exclusive. The only games that aren't exclusive are the games that already had existing contracts to not be exclusive, like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. But moving on, no, these are Xbox games. You don't spend $7.5 billion to release your game somewhere else. They could have paid for limited exclusivity for way less. They could have paid 10% as much and got all of their games exclusive for a year. Paying $7.5 billion says no. You belong to us. Your games are ours now.
It's a big deal. And that, but like, it was a big deal when we heard about them purchasing Bethesda. It's a bigger deal to see it actually playing out now. Now to like have the realistic, like, oh, that's an Xbox exclusive. Holy shit! To hear that and see it's a whole different thing, man. It's a whole different ballpark.
No, absolutely. And I think that was really as we come to a close here. That was the message of Microsoft show. A, Game Pass is the real deal, and B, Bethesda games are really exclusive. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
All right, with that, I'll end this one, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe. If you didn't, any constructive feedback, any feedback at all, but preferably constructive feedback, can be hit on any of our Twitter screens, Twitter pages on the screen right now. That's it. Catch you guys next time.